Proof positive pudding was being served on Married to Medicine. Let's talk about it.
And I'm like, come on through, Corky. I want to put my soapbox. That's basically it. Let's talk about drag and all its forms. What,
Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on the video. This is my review for season 5, episode 7 of Married to Medicine. Like I said, positive proof pudding was being given out at a Mother's Day fucking soiree. Okay? Just hold with me. You know, it's always this back and forth with us when we get down here with this Married to Medicine, because y'all just, a lot of you all get so upset with me because you just like Quad, and Quad does no wrong, and you hate Mariah. Those two things are true. And it's not that Quad doesn't do any wrong, because she does. She does things, and when she does wrong, I get out of her ass too. But it is very true that I don't like Mariah. I don't like Shoot Lucy, and I definitely don't like Frozen Lake. I don't like none of the three of them bitches. So we don't have to keep fighting about it. Just sit there and listen to what I have to say. I'm going to say what I have to say about them. You go ahead and write what your comments are and call me ugly and do all those things that you do, and we'll laugh and we'll move and we'll wait until next week and we'll just continue on. Isn't everybody happy? Merry Christmas. Now let's get to it. Anyway, and just so you'll know, the reason that I don't like Mariah doesn't have really anything to do with, and I think I might have said this before, but I'm just going to reiterate this for some of the people who may have forgotten, and some of you guys who are new and don't know what my situation is with Mariah. Actually has nothing to do with Quad. It really doesn't, and it never actually did. I actually didn't start to actually get into Quad until after the situation went down with me and Mariah. Me and Mariah had a back and forth on Twitter a long time ago when the show first came on. It literally had nothing to do with Quad. I just ended up liking Quad. I actually kind of liked Quad because Quad read the hell out of Carrie Wells. I hated Carrie Wells, but nobody ever seems to remember that, and I tore Carrie Wells' ass apart. Tore her apart, she's no prejudice bitch. That was way back in the beginning. So I started liking Quad kind of in there, but I really got into Quad after, the fact of all of that stuff going on. I've always hated Toya from the beginning. I couldn't stand Toya. That thing with the adoption and all of that about little Lauren, all of that was an issue. All of that was an issue. But yeah, that's what actually happened, you all. In all honesty, all jokes aside, Mariah and I got into it on Twitter. I wasn't following Mariah because I don't follow most of the people you see me talking about. I don't follow them because I don't do the celebrity follow. I'm not running around looking for nobody to be looking at me. I mean, those who want to look at me are already looking at me. I follow who I follow, but I do not follow all the people from all the shows that I review. I sure don't. Sure don't. But yeah, her and I got into a little thing back and forth. That's what she does. She trolls the internet and she attacks people. She thought she wanted to attack me, and she got right in the list with all those who have actually tried me before. And I didn't treat her any different. I treated her just like the Vegas Gate folk. I treated her just like King JJ and everybody else who ever tried it. Old Nate. Everybody that ever tried it, Mariah went right in there just like them. She's no different because she's on TV. What do I care? If you're on my laptop or on my TV, if you try me, I'm going to let your ass have it. So anyway, saying all that, let's talk about our episode and let's get the shit started. And y'all can start typing, honey, and get the arguments and all that stuff started. Fun time begins now. Phone call from Simone well, to Simone from Quad. Quad's sitting at the table. Her and Dr. G have had whatever they had go down. She sits there. She's talking on the phone. She's talking to Simone, and it was just kind of funny. But they went back and forth, and Simone, stood in there, and I kind of got irritated with Simone because I was like, Simone, this was a phone call where you really were supposed to be listening. You weren't really supposed to be talking. So you were irritating me at that point, going on and asking all these questions. And then some things she said was good. Like when she said the line when she told her, giving up is not in your nature. Yes, she did need to hear that. And so does Dr. G. They needed to hear that. But again, this was a phone call where I felt as though Simone didn't need to be asking questions. Have you done all that you need to do? And this, that, thing, and the other, and all that. I didn't even feel like that was even a conversation that needed to be being had, and especially not with Simone, because you got bullshit going on yourself. So right now you're kind of standing in a position where you're not in a position to be asking those questions. So that's how I felt about that. But anyway, and then there was another little piece in the comments last week about that whole Quad and Dr. G thing. When I said and seen, I knew what I was saying. And I knew what I meant. And some of you kind of didn't get what I meant. Just keep on listening and you're going to get it. It's going to all tie in and make sense, okay? With how I felt. I got attacked a little bit where people were saying, I don't think they're going to be okay. I didn't say they were going to. Well, I did say they were going to be okay. And I meant that they were going to be okay. And people got mad. Like, I just felt like, it was just going to fix itself. No, I didn't really feel like it just was going to fix itself. I think that Dr. G and Quad, there's one of two things that were going to happen, and they both understood it. That's why I said they were going to be okay. No, it wasn't that it was just going to miraculously fix itself. But like I said, just keep listening and we'll talk about it. Okay, so next thing, we get Heavenly and Jewel Tanker shows back up. And Jewel Tanker basically ends up telling Heavenly, yet again, you need to slow down. You need to, when you're in the midst of some mess with somebody, don't start all that damn cussing and just chill out. Just chill out, get yourself together, and then you can either respond decently and in order, or you'll be able to walk away. But that jumping straight in to start cussing, you're never going to get to where it is that you claim you want to get to. And that's all it is a claim. Dr. Heavenly, I don't even know why she do it. It's probably just for a show. You're going to be who you are. She's just a bitch with a smart mouth who don't mind. I don't think she likes confrontation, but she really don't mind it. And in the situation she's in, it helps for what it is that she do. What she does. That's her character that she plays. So the whole Jewel Tanker thing ain't nothing but screen time for her and screen time for Jewel. That's all. And when she told her, you need to apologize to Shoot Lucy. So I was like, oh, okay, well, that's cool. So I understood wholeheartedly why Heavenly felt a little anxious about apologizing to Shoot Lucy. Because one, apologizing and saying that you're wrong, it's a step for anybody. To have to sit in your own shit and own up to your shit and say, hey, you know what, I was wrong about this, that, thing, and the other. That's a step for a person. That's a lot to go in yourself and come out and say, you know what, I was wrong. And it does show character. But I understood her being anxious because Shoot Lucy is a bitch. So you don't know how she's going to go. So I understood the angst that was actually building in Dr. Heavenly. We will talk about that a little bit later too. Okay, so let's move on. Carmen. Oh, pretty Carmen. Carmen showed up. Carmen is Simone's sister. Carmen always comes through with good shit. As long as the program's been on television and the few times we've actually seen Carmen comes through with some real shit. Carmen and Jackie can stop Simone in her tracks. and make her listen. But it's same thing with Quad, because the three of them, they're actually really good friends, and then they do stop. They don't yell over each other and stuff. Simone doesn't do that. So Carmen, Jackie, and when Quad's talking, she listens, but she really listens to Carmen. She does. If you've been watching, you'll know that every time Carmen shows up and some shit's going on, Carmen will show up and she will get Simone straight. She told her, this two-house shit is a no-go. It needs to stop. It needs to stop. And she said, I remember a time when you and Cecil were completely inseparable. We couldn't even get you to go out and do a girls' night because Cecil can't come to girls' night. So you would prefer not to go to girls' night to stay with Cecil. So whatever that is, you need, whatever's missing or whatever has changed, you need to get back to that and get that bullshit out of this relationship. And this two-house thing is a big part of it. This two-house shit is a no-go. And did you notice this? She didn't argue. She didn't go back and forth with her sister Carmen. She listened to Carmen. The shit that Carmen was saying was making sense. I thought the two-house thing was kind of cool at first, but the two-house thing is really, it's like a buffer to the problem. It makes it easy for them to be detached from each other. So it really is a hindrance to their marriage, where it was supposed to be something to really help them, but it's like tearing them further apart. So the two-house thing, it's not good. But I was happy that Carmen came and she said that, and you could tell that Simone's wheels were spinning and she was actually listening. So that was cool. And then Carmen dropped a bomb and said, do you feel like he still loves you? And Simone's sitting there looking stupid and said, I don't know. And the funny thing, this is why you heard me say a little bit ago that you were not in the position to be asking Quad these things, because you asked Quad that exact same question. And her answer was the same like your answer. So if your answer was the same like hers, and she's all confused about it, who are you to be asking her that question? You were only good for a listening ear at that time. Your shit's raggedy, and you aren't in the position to be counseling nobody else. Okay? Get that together and stop being foolish. Of course Cecil still loves you. Of course he does. Are you crazy? Simple ass. But anyway, so then the next thing, and this was a good episode because everything is kind of clearing itself up. We're starting to see things moving and get ready to start clearing itself up. Jackie sat with Cecil, and I was here for it. Jackie is definitely open to reconciling with Curtis, and I won't even say, well, yes, she is. She's open to reconciling, but her thing is she's open to listen to what Curtis has to say, and she said, I'm going to give one chance, and one chance only. You know what? I don't think I could do it. Not at this point in my life, but when I was in my 20s, I've been there. I've done it. I got cheated on, and I gave another chance, and shit, I gave another chance more than one time. Foolish as hell. But at 45, no, I couldn't do it. I can't do that, not at this point. So my hat is off to Jackie. Hey, go for it. She says she's up to give it the one chance, and that's it. One chance. So I said, okay, so this thing with Curtis, I'm really interested to see next week when Curtis and Jackie actually meet up. And you know what? I'm all for it because it's what Jackie wants. Because on a normal, you all know I would tell you, hell no. Infidelity is a fucking no-go. But Dr. Jackie wants it. Curtis, I think, knows he made a real big mistake. And I think he had to actually get out there without Jackie to actually realize, damn, maybe she wasn't so bad. And she realized, damn, I could have bent a little bit more. So it is what it is. I guess this is what they mean with that for better or worse stuff. So I'm here for it because it's what the two of them want. So we'll see what happens with that next week. They shifted right from that. They went on into speaking about Cecil and Simone. And Cecil is not angry like Simone thinks that Cecil's angry with her. He gets angry at the situation. And, she's like, he hurts my feelings. No, you're all soft That hard shell works for everybody else, but you don't really have that hard shell with Cecil. Everything Cecil says to you, when Cecil doesn't say what you want him to say, then you're all in your feelings. And that's all that's going on. Because I don't think he's being really all that mean. He ain't being nice, but he's not being mean to the point where you're like crying and carrying on and you're falling all apart. But you all in your feelings. Because part of it is guilt. Part of it is guilt. Part of it is that you two together have fucked this up. So there's some guilt in there and all of that kind of stuff. But this conversation he had with Jackie was definitely needed. He shared that they're not the huggy, kissy, loving family. And I understand that because I'm not a part of that. I've never embraced my mom that I can even remember. And, I have a hell of a memory when it comes to, my life. We are not huggers like that. But I am. When I'm with my friends and different things and different relationships I have with people outside of my relationship with my mother, I am a very affectionate person like that. But that's just not her. That's just not how she gets down. My brother is as evil as shit as he is. He is a hugging person with me and my mother. I don't think he's not like that with other people. But I've witnessed him. He hugs my mom and stuff, but she just that ain't her. And y'all know how I feel about my mother. There's no questions about how I feel about her. That's just not what the relationship is. So I understood that. And they both ended up at different periods of this program speaking about it. They said that loving part comes into their household because of their youngest son, Michael. And he's the one that we actually saw. He's the one that basically put out there that this shit y'all going through is a fucking issue. It's an issue. We don't feel good about it. I don't like it. It's Michael. So like she said, Michael is the loving person. Michael is the affectionate person. So they talked about that, and he said, I wish I could be more like Michael. And he definitely said he was definitely open to chilling out with Simone. He misses Simone, but he's reached out a couple times, and Simone was trying to play hard ass, and then whenever he bounces back, then she get to crying and carrying on. Later on at the party at Mariah's house, Jackie spoke a little bit, and Simone basically said, she stated that Curtis has started doing some things that were different, that was helping them along, and you could tell she wasn't totally sold, but she wasn't so negative. I think she was happy because her point was getting across and she was being heard. So that was that. So all of this, those two couples, or that stuff is going to be shifting and it's going to be getting straightened up soon. So I'm happy about that. Now, Quad calls Toya. She tells her, I want you to go. And this is the kind of little clip we saw everybody was all up in arms last week because they thought that Quad was going to go get this new house. She's going to do the 2-house thing. And she told her, let me go ahead and I want you to come with me, girl, look for a new residence. And it was really a play on words. It was a play on words because there's this whole thing of how Mariah has always been saying, Quad lived in a car, this, that, thing, the other. And that's exactly what it was. Quad had ordered a custom new vehicle and all of that. And she just had Toya ride with her to actually go and pick it up. That's all. That's all that it was. She had Toya ride with her to go pick it up. She bought a truck. And that's why she kept calling it a residence. But when they were in the car on the way over there, Toya, you kind of saw the relationship. Toya and Quad, I think I saw for the first time, have kind of like a big sister, little sister kind of thing. And it's not the first time I saw it. The first time I saw it was when the situation came down with the taxes. Remember when Quad went over to Toya's house about the taxes and she sat down and talked to her and Toya opened up? And we got to see like a human side of Toya. She opened up. She wasn't combative with Quad. She wasn't shading or anything like that. Quad wasn't shading her. Quad came over and gave her knowledge that she had that she thought was helpful. And Toya was completely open to it. And it was like a different Toya than I had ever seen. It was very refreshing. And this was the same thing that happened. Gregory and Quad were having a little back and forth on the phone. And Toya was saying, wait a minute, because at first Quad wasn't even want to answer the phone. She's like, he's ready to try to start another argument, back to an argument we didn't have, and I ain't here for it. So Toya's like, well, wait a minute, girl, but you got to answer the phone. That's your husband. You can't do that, Quad. And I think she needed to hear that, And she's like, okay, and Quad did answer the phone. And of course, Dr. G was barking, and they're barking at each other. Did you notice how that the two of them barking at each other just kind of broke Toya? That is the same type of thing that would actually happen with two sisters and a sister-in-law that really loved her brother-in-law. If the sister and the brother-in-law got to arguing, she would start to crying. Did you see that? Did you see how Toya's feelings were actually, it wasn't no put on, she wasn't acting because the bitch ain't no good actress. The bitch is best when she's drunk. She's not no actress. She was actually like hurt, her feelings were hurt by the whole them two not getting along and her seeing that real dent in their marriage that was kind of it was worrying her like an aggravating little sister. And I thought, and I liked the scene. Not only liked the fact that they were arguing, but I liked the scene of actually seeing what that friendship dynamic actually is with Quad and Toya. It actually is a little deeper. Toya, and we're seeing that the Toya in some areas, I give her a really hard time, but some areas Toya's not really all that bad. She got her shit with her, but in some areas, I think she's kind of loyal and she kind of cool. In some areas, she ain't my kind of people. But I see some different traits in her that are pretty nice, and we kind of understood it. We met her mother. Her mother showed up this time. Her name is Vanessa, and Toya's mom is sharp. Toya's mom is sharp. She funny as hell. Now, I'm going to tell you, she gave me an Evelyn Braxton moment when Toya brought up her dad, honey. She was like, she was so over she was so over him. But it wasn't the same like how Miss E is real hateful and mean and really hates their dad. Like, she's still hurt and angry. I don't think Miss Vanessa is angry at Toya's father. She's pretty much over his bullshit. And from what we've heard Toya say of her father, he was a womanizer and a cheat and pretty much an asshole. And I think she was over him when it was done, and she really ain't got no use for him for real in regular life because she's remarried and everything, and she seems very happy. But anyway, she was there, showed up, so we got to see her for the first time. And I said I could see where some of the good traits that Toya has, we see where they come from. So we had all that go on. Yeah, that was cool. And now we'll talk about Miss Vanessa in a minute. Yeah, we'll talk about her in a minute. Heavenly. We very rarely see her boys. Okay? We very rarely see her boys. Now, Laura, we see all the time. And Laura's kind of cute. She's got a cute little girl. And then I looked at the boys. Both boys and Laura, all her kids actually look alike. All her kids look alike. And the little one, Damon Jr., really looks like Laura. He's a cute little fella. And I looked at the kids. I said, she got decent looking, good looking kids. And they all look alike. And it's funny. And when you look at them, their kids look like a mishmash of her and Dr. Damon. They really look like they gave all their best attributes that they had to their kids. Their kids got the best of what their parents had to give them, looks-wise. Now, look at this picture. Now, that's Damon Jr. Now, Damon Jr., baby, you cute, but that haircut is fucked up. I don't know what that is. That old dumbass Mr. T-ass haircut, horrible. I don't know what is that? Leave him alone. He in college. I'm going to give it a pass. He's in college. When they're in college, they be doing all kind of dumb shit. She was fussing about how, he don't be coming home. He's finding his way, so he don't come home every weekend. He running in there to do his little laundry. He's like, yeah, okay, He's ready to get out the door. So he's trying to get the fuck away from her. I just kind of laugh. So we're going to let you slide. But when next time you come home, I'm going to be looking for that dumbass haircut to be gone. That is a dumbass Mr. T-ass goddamn haircut. It looks like Algonquin. That's what it looks like if you don't know who Algonquin. Algonquin is Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. That's her dog. Her dog has a haircut like that. Anyway, moving on. Okay, so let's go to the big shebang, which was Mariah's Mother's Day party. Everybody was supposed to dress in yellow and white. Shoot Lucy was the guest of honor. I guess she looked okay. She looked all right. She had an old dress on. That's just what it looked like, old dress. And it wasn't nothing special, no old dress. And there was a lot of people there. My girl Janice was there, cleaner than a mother. I said, look at Janice, honey. Clean. Hair laid, makeup dusted, badass dress. You know that damn Janice be done. It don't be no joke about what's going on. Janice was real sharp. It was a standout. The best mother, well, mother, Janice is a mother as well. But of the mothers, like the actual mothers of the castmates and stuff. The best dressed mother was Toya's mom. Toya's mom, Miss Vanessa, was clean as hell with this white dress with the ruffled thing on the one side was sharp. None of the girls did this, nobody had the peacock syndrome going on. Everybody let their mother have their moment. All the moms were really dressed to the nines. They had their good shit on, and all the daughters were really scaled down to just a regular, like a nice, like they had the nice pantsuit, nice sundress type of thing. But the mothers basically were, you knew who the mothers were. Okay, like the actual mothers, because all of the mothers were dressed in like cocktail suits and gowns or whatever. They were done. They were really looking good. You knew who the true queens were, and that's the way it should have been. And then here comes Mariah, the pariah. She marched her ass out there in this blue dress. You're ridiculous. You're ridiculous. I mean, I just didn't get it. You come out here, you tell us that Lucy is the total honor, guest of honor, and then you come out all extra, and then you go on just outdress her. Just outdressed her. I mean, just completely. It was a beautiful dress that Mariah had on, beautiful shoes. Bitch looked good. I can't even take nothing away from bitch look good. And she always got a bad shoe. And y'all know I will always say that. I don't like her at all. But y'all know I've done that. You can pull up 5 damn segments where I've talked about different things that Mariah, that bitch be dressed. A lot of times she's dressed, and she always had badass shoes a lot of times. But she was clean as hell. But the dress was just too much. It done got caught all in the door and shit because they had a train. It was a real pretty, very much a pageant type of thing going on. And it got caught, there's this train that get caught all in the door. Why did you have to outdress Shoot Lucy? If Shoot Lucy is the guest of honor, why didn't you just have that dress made for Shoot Lucy in yellow? Or put her in the blue? I would have understood it if Lucy was in the blue. I would have, and you know what? I would have totally understood it if Lucy had on the blue dress. But bitch, I don't understand why you had the blue dress on. Well, yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. Because you think you're Diana Ross, but you're not. You're not. Ridiculous. Anyway, so that was ridiculous. Quad didn't show up at all, and I just laughed, and I don't blame her. It was her birthday weekend. Why would I show up at your house? Why would I ruin my birthday weekend fucking around with you? Psh, not at all. And then have her mother come. Why would her mother want to come there to a function with you? Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. Not at all. Now, to further elaborate about the Quad and Dr. G situation, all I mean by when I said insane is either a scene where they're doing this for TV. It's just a piece of what's going on, heightened to a new place for the show. And in that case, they're going to be okay. And if it's not, and it's actually, an issue that they can't solve, then it's going to be insane. They're going to separate. And that's it. That's what I meant when I said insane. And they're going to be all right. They are. They're going to be all right. They have literally already seen each other at each other's best and worst. You all know the situation about when they got into the altercation and they both ended up going to jail. They know each other's hot buttons. They know how far the other one will go. So that's what I meant when I said they're going to be fine. They're going to be fine because they know how to handle each other. They're either going to stay together and fix whatever the problem is, or it was for the television show and it's okay any old way. So, hello to reality TV. Come on, seriously. That's what I meant when I said they're going to be okay. And I meant when I said they're going to be okay. So what we did find out, Toya's mom and Shoot Lucy actually came to an agreement and a cool place, because we found that Toya's mother, all this time, it's been like 5 years, she wasn't happy with motherfucking Lucy popping her daughter upside her head with that motherfucking purse. And then that information actually came out during that live. Mariah does a live every week after the show, which is ridiculous. And it actually puts it out there that proof positive, like I said, proof positive pudding, always in her lives, of how much of a bitch she really is. And I can tell that a lot of these people that are always ratting for Mariah that's trying to attack me, y'all don't watch her live, because if you watch her live, you see the contradiction that your girl is. But whatever. There's a hater on the line. Anyhow, shout out to Kaya. Anyway, they made up. The two mothers made up and everything was cool. Now, there was this little segment where she wanted to give out these awards, okay? She's giving out these awards, and I thought it was totally unnecessary. She gave an award to some unknown woman. We don't know who she was or what the whole purpose of her getting the award was, because I was like, if you're not going to give all the mothers something, and I'm kind of thinking maybe she did and they just edited it out. But we saw one woman that we don't know get an award, and then there was an award for Toya, but it was given to her mother. And she went into this whole speech about how Toya, we went through our thing, and you never disrespected my mother. Tell me, I felt, and y'all can tell me what y'all think in the comments, why was it necessary that was a total dig at Heavenly. It was a dig at Heavenly. You couldn't get around it. You couldn't candy coat. That was a complete dig at Heavenly. You invite her here, and then you take a dig at her. And y'all know I don't even like Heavenly, but I'm Team Heavenly tonight. I'm Team Heavenly tonight, and I'm going to stand up for Heavenly. Heavenly was walking in a good place, and I felt as though she was abused at that function. I didn't think she deserved that. If you feel that way about her, why was she even invited? And then nastier shit came out during that live. That Lake and Shoot Lucy and Mariah, them is some nasty fucking whorish bitches. They were horrible. They were horrible on that live. Because I take it that Heavenly's mother has passed on, because there was a piece where they did like this, the releasing of butterflies for the mothers that have passed on, and Heavenly was one of the ones that were standing up there letting butterflies go. So I'm going to take it that I think her mother has passed on. And in that live, that nasty fucking Lucy and Mariah and Lake said that what she's missing is a mother's love. She don't got it, and she ain't going to be able to get it. That was the nastiest shit. And I don't give a damn what y'all say. All you Mariah Huck stands, that was nasty and foul. To say that the bitch is missing a mother's love, that's fine. Maybe she is missing a mother's love. But to say she ain't never going to be able to get it, that's like throwing dirt in the face of a corpse. That is just as nasty. And I know I can be a mean bitch. That's nasty. That right there is enough. That, like I said, proof positive pudding. That Mariah and her mammy and her little nasty little ugly sister, old dirty Lakewater, they are just, child, y'all can have them. Y'all can have them. Them is some nasty somethings, honey. Ain't nobody got time for them. Them bitches are the devil. Anyway, moving on. That went down. She still didn't act ugly. She didn't act ugly. She ended up saying, you know what, to Jackie, and was it Toya or Simone? One of them. I think it was Toya. Anyway, it was two of them that went over with her. She said she wanted to apologize to Lucy. She went over to Lucy and she apologized. And she told her, I am really sorry. You know, for anything that I said that hurt you, it was, on my part, it was very wrong. It was very disrespectful. I'm very embarrassed about it. And I would like to apologize to you for it. I've apologized to Mariah when we were in New Orleans a few weeks ago, but I definitely wanted to come to you and I want to apologize to you. That bitch looked her right in her face and told her, well, I can't accept your apology. Because if I accepted it, wouldn't be God felt, because I still feel some kind of way about it. So no, I don't accept your apology. And that's her Pennsylvania privilege, to not accept it. But tell me, why was she invited? Why was she invited? You invited her there to throw shade at her in front of a whole room of people who knew what you were doing. And then your mammy going to add the cherry on top of the goddamn melted milkshake. That was petty as hell. That was petty. It wasn't cute to me. And I was like, again, proof positive pudding, honey. Nasty bitches. And in closing this up, let me say this. From this point going forward, whatever Heavenly says or does to shoot Lucy, whatever. All's fair in love and war, honey. And then last thing, Miss Renee. Miss Renee, if you don't sit your ass down, Donnell Jones, if you don't come and get your mammy, come and get her. Now, we like Miss Renee. And she just don't need to go nowhere. Contessa don't need to take her nowhere at all. She don't need to go nowhere around people because she not public ready. Not at all. She loud, she ghetto, and she's drunk. And ain't nobody got time for it. She was a complete embarrassment. A complete embarrassment. Loud and just ridiculous. She really was ridiculous. They talked about her real bad in the live too, but I can't even say nothing about that because she brought that on herself. They just kept contradicting themselves because they went through a whole period on the live about she just wanted to fit in and, you know, this, that, thing, and the other. We wanted to make sure we gave her some love and this, that, and the other. But then in the next 5 minutes, they drug her ass and was giving, honey, I wouldn't take her nowhere, honey. I wouldn't take her nowhere. She's ridiculous. And I didn't find her funny at all. It was like, I was like, wow. So which is it? We wanted to show her that we love everybody. Oh, she was ridiculous. I would have, child, she wasn't cute to me. Anybody want to be bothered with her? I said, which is it? You backpedaling and pussy popping now. What is it? A mess. But she was doing the most. She really was. Being all loud. And then she speaks. She speaks from a place like she's kind of jealous of Contessa. She says that she stands in the gap for her because Contessa's like a daughter to her. And I believe that she feels that way. And I believe Contessa feels that way about her. But, you know, people still can't envy you in the bottom of all of it. And I think she does. I think there's some envy in there. And when the more she drank, the more it seemed to come out. She don't take her motherfucking ass nowhere else. Do not. Miss Renee, you're a hot ass mess. You're a hot, drunk, ghetto ass mess. completely. And then I don't know what was going on with her and the little gay guy. In the live, Mariah said that she made some type of a gay slur toward him. And that's why he was saying G-A-Y to her or something. I thought she was trying to hit on him or something. I don't know. I don't know what that actually was. Maybe they'll elaborate on it later on. But all in all, Miss Renee didn't have no business being there. And I'm sure this is not the first time Contessa took her somewhere. She's nobody that I would take anywhere to represent me. She's embarrassing. She was really embarrassing. I was like, girl, you can sit down. But anyway, but like Contessa said, when she's not, she told the girls, when she's around my kids, it's totally different. She doesn't act like this. She don't be cursing and stuff in front of my kids. And they show video footage of her with the kids. And she does give off the grandma vibe when she's with the kids. But when she ain't with the kids, baby, she gives you old drunken ass auntie that's going to piss on herself before the party's over, honey. Or shortly thereafter. Anyway, I done talked child too long. You know, I don't do no reviews this long. We done really went on and on. Y'all go ahead. I know it's going to be interesting down there in the comments, but I'm ready. So go ahead. Take to it. I'll talk to you guys next week. And happy holidays to you guys. Later.